Hey, good people. So I plan to do some sort of video today, go live, do something, because all month I've been talking about my personal Independence Month and all that good stuff in the books and things that I've chose to post and to say. So I was gonna come on today and do a little extended video because today is my actual personal Independence Day. So for those of you who are aware or not, either way, today is the day that my divorce became finalized. And so while I do not celebrate divorce in any way, shape, or form, I will celebrate freedom loudly every day that God gives me breath to do it, because my marriage was designed to keep me in bondage, and it was designed to basically kill me in every way possible, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. It was really meant to take me out. And because I'm now on the outside of that and I can see it for what it was and I've grown from it and learned from it, then I choose to heal loudly because I suffered in silence. But the one thing that I had said that I would do, and I did, was that I wrote the books so that other people, when they were going through these situations, would have resources. Because when I was in the middle of it, I didn't have any. I didn't have um, anything, especially by a woman of color, black woman, Hispanic, um, any any woman of any other nationality other than um, a white American woman that had anything about how to get through these situations that didn't say stay and pray, with the exception of one person, and that was Leslie Vernick, and she has amazing resources. But her books were the only ones that ever said, you know what, you may really need to leave if it's best for you, if that's what you need to do. And so, because there's no, there were none by people who look like me, sound like me, have lived life similar to me. None of that was present. And so I wrote about it. So last week, while in Missouri, on a work trip for a nonprofit that I work with that, works with youth empowerment and developing and helping them develop goals and businesses and all of those types of things, I had books with me to sell. And the director of the program just the director of the program bought, I think she bought two or three of the books I had with me, just to show support, because we were there, all of the coaches that came, we had products, we had things to sell. So she bought something from everybody to, support our efforts and to say thank you for coming to the event and doing the things that we needed to do to help it be successful and all of that stuff. So fast forward to this week, she sent me a message this morning and said, "Hey, I know it's early, but I really want to talk to you later about the book that I want to write." So I said, "Okay, fine." We set up a time to call, and the call with I just finished the call with her, and it was nothing short of amazing. What she revealed was that for a number of years, she was actually married to what she now knows is a malignant narcissist. And he called her um, last night or something to that effect, and like basically just pretty much, easy enough way to say it, like tried to trash her. Um, and this is years later. They've been apart for years, but this is just like the type of stuff that goes on with these relationships. And so after she hung up that call, she sat down and she said, "You know what? I'm no longer going to let this defeat me." And so she sat down and she started writing. And then in the process of that, was looking around and undoing things, and she came across my book that she purchased um, at the convention, and she started reading it. And then she realized, um, that the whole thing was a God ordained event. She thought she was just buying the book to be supportive, never really had too much of a thought one way or another. I mean, I'm sure she probably eventually she would have got around to reading it, but it wasn't at the forethought of things on her list. She just bought it to be helpful, and then opened the book and started reading, and was like, "Oh my gosh, this is why he had me buy this book. This is why he led me, to connect with this person." And so, long story short of it, she read through the book. She sent me the message, and she just wanted to let me know that from reading the part of my story that she read, she hadn't even finished the book yet, but from reading the part of it, she was encouraged to now tell her story, um, and write out her book and explain to women what happened and how, God worked through her life and to move her through that situation. And so my purpose for writing, just all came flooding back. That was the reason I wrote my book. I wrote the books because there are women who need to see them. There are women who need to read them. There are women who need to tell their own stories, because we're getting enough stories from people who have succumbed to the abuse and to like the emotional horror and the physical horror and all of the mental just desolation that you go through dealing with these situations. But you hear stories of the other side, but you don't get to see what all went on in the middle. And it's not about the purpose of telling a tell-all. It's not the purpose of exposing anybody for anything. It's the fact that God can use whatever we let up, move out the way and let him use. And so one of the things that I am very adamant about and clear about is the fact that at the end of the day, I walked into that relationship on my own. He, in fact, told me, don't go. Gave me every sign in the world not to go. I didn't listen. I went anyway. I walked in, but he carried me out. And that's the message that I want anybody else to know. You can have walked yourself in. You could have ended up in any other sort of a way, but he is the way out. And if you don't know how to do that, if you don't know how that starts, holla at me. Grab a book. I'll put the link in the comments for you to be able to order one. Have it. Start reading. Start doing the things that you need to do to get your relationship with God back together first, and get your relationship with you back together, so that when you are in your own senses and in your own capabilities and in your own mind, you can see the amazingness and the value of you, because whatever they say about you doesn't matter. It's a lie from the enemy. I'm not saying they're the enemy. The stuff that they say to you is a lie from the enemy. And you have to know that in the knowing of all knowings that you know about yourself. You know that you are far more than what they see. And it's not about proof. It's not about showing them. It's not about any of that. It's about you walking into who you are. So if I can leave you with anything today as I go off and enjoy the rest of my Saturday, be you and be okay with being you. Peace.